Hi again, my beautiful audience. I got a wonderful MC and psychologist, a mentor, a judge, a speaker, and author. And I'm so privileged to introduce Dr. Nat to our show. Welcome, Dr. Nat.
Oh, thank you, Bisme. It's so lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I would really love to comment to you, like, being a judge and MC for
Mm.
this 100 Speakers Summit. That was an awesome experience, Dr. Nat, because the way that you engaging with all the speakers who were like, really upset or stressed, but taking them into that journey to deliver their story, that was awesome. And I know
Oh,
that that was a first emceeing event for you. No one will tell that. You were doing
oh,
that so elegantly again. So wonderful and well done.
thank you
And
so much. It was a real privilege to listen to people's stories and have them share, the raw stories, real, authentic, worthy stories. So it was a big job, but it was a real honor and privilege to be part of it. So thank
and
you.
then you were one of the judges as well. So we are just waiting to get the result. And it's a hard job to get 10 from 100 speakers.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll
I
wait.
I don't envy Kaylee because we all put our evaluations in, but really then she has to curate it for the event. So
Yeah,
no
exactly.
one really knows who it will
Who will
be.
be in there? Yeah.
So
So if you
yeah.
don't know what is this virtual summit, that is actually running from Kaylee Chu. She got a wonderful platform for GPS who would love to become the speakers. And then
Mm.
Dr. Nat was one of the judges, and then coming up in that, right way of helping people to become public speakers. So I'm coming back to you, Nat. So
Yeah.
checking about all different roles that you're playing as a psychologist, first of all, as a founder of Winning from Within. And
Yes.
then you are doing different coaching and mentoring in different areas that I want to hear from you. And a speaker, and then you are a published bestseller author. So all these things, let me hear. How did you start all these and what are you doing now?
Yes. So I first became a psychologist. So I've been a psychologist for 17 years.
Mhm.
And I run my own private practice, which is called Your Local Psychologist. I've been doing that for about 9 years.
Mm.
And really, though, through this time, because I'm very much about how do we get people to change in the fastest possible time with the least amount of pain? How do we get them to transform and have the best lives they possibly can? And so I keep searching. It's been more than 30 years of searching for the tools that will really make a big difference to people in their lives. And
Mm.
so in that time, I came across coaching. I love coaching. During the pandemic, I thought, I can't see everyone. I can't see lots of people. So how else? Well, I wrote a book. So
Mm.
it's a self-help book. Hopefully that helps some people who could read that. Um, and then just really coming up to thinking about where do I want my career to be from now and how do I reach more people? Because not that I'm running out of time, but I'm getting older. So, how do I, rather than just doing one on one, which I've done for over 17 years now, how can I reach more people and show them that it's possible to have an amazing life? And
Mm. Mm.
so that was when I came across Kaylee and started doing the speaking and seeing that, you can get your message out very quickly to many people by using speaking and doing workshops and trainings, those kind of things.
Mm. Can you share with us that, the current, areas that you're coaching and then doing your activities?
Yeah, so the most recent people that I've been working with are really high performance people or people who are working in high performance areas. So highly driven professionals, usually, as well as could be elite athletes. Anyone who has that pressure to perform have
Mm.
really been the people I've been working with recently. And then really moving now more into that training and training coaches and people to be able to work with people in high performance.
Yeah. So my listeners, if you are a high performer and then need that, extra push to your success, I would recommend Dr. Nat is the right person. And then I love the way that you're winning and it's from within. So it's more of like, finding out your core connection and then pushing that to the level best. That's the real clear definition of what Dr. Nat is doing. So I encourage to connect with her. But before that, let me hear from you, Nat. How do you describe your motherhood? You got a big bunch of hats in the other side, but how do you define motherhood?
Yeah, for me, it's like a mystery adventure with no map. It's like you get your own in and told to just, do your best. And you're not sure where you're going and you're not sure what you're doing a lot of the
Yeah.
time, but you're just doing the best you can.
Oh,
So I think at times, it's the best thing I've ever done. At times it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm climbing mountains sometimes and sometimes it's flat. But it's certainly the most love I've ever felt for someone in my whole life, and I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to, experience motherhood.
that's great. Do you have any special moments that you still keep really close to your heart?
It's so funny because, I think when we think about that, it'll, would it be these big, amazing moments? But actually, for me, my most favorite are the smallest and simplest moments that I have. So I love laying in bed together and having a chat or watching a movie, or we make popcorn together. We might just do something spontaneous, like let's go and have a picnic or go for a walk with the dogs. And I think probably if I think of my most favorite time, it's probably the car trips that I have with my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the time where she really shares her day, shares some difficult things with me, maybe with friendships or the things she's most proud of. So I feel like that. I know they sound very small and everyday, but for me, they're my most cherished and favorite times.
I love that because usually we talk about like, and it's always a good way to walk and talk. But if you are in the car, it's like you're not facing them, but you're hearing actively. So
Yeah.
that's the time, like a safe time for them to share their. I can resonate to that because my teenage son, he wants to respond with yes or no. But if I drive, I can ask, oh, can you explain a bit more? What did you feel about that thing? So I can
Yes.
resonate. That's a good way of getting their heart. Yeah,
I
I agree.
agree. I couldn't agree more. It's the most conversation we probably ever have is when we're in the car. And I think you're right. I think it's that because it's not that direct eye contact and
Yeah.
it's just being able to chat and not feel too much pressure and not be distracted by other things as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's no choice other than talking.
Exactly.
And then you are in the driver's seat, then you got power as well.
Exactly. You've got
I
them
love it.
captive in the car.
Yeah, that's true. And it's so hard if kids are growing up to get to know what exactly happening with them is a bit hard because they
Yes.
always, think, oh, should I say that? Oh, I can see that from your eyes, even though you're not telling all those things. So
Exactly.
yeah, I love it. So I just want to check with you, like motherhood is always a precious moment, and I like the analogy of that map, like with the no map, what to do going that one. And I think many of our mothers are like just deep dive into that ocean with no real ideas, and
Yeah.
sometimes they will be redoing what they got from their mothers, which may be a
Yeah.
really bad thing, but they think that's the right thing because that's what they got. I
Yes,
think
very
that's
natural to
yeah,
repeat the
yeah,
patterns because that's the role model that you had. And we know that people learn they learn the best from the role modeling, from your behavior, what you do, not what you say necessarily. So they're just going to
exactly.
repeat what they
Hmm.
know already. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
I
Yeah.
can really think that, back in India, we always have real routine, do these things for 3 months, don't do that, don't do this, or you can't say this word and all those things. And then I'm not sure in our language, there's a letter which is very easy letter that you don't need to touch. When you take your breath, it won't go to your tummy. So we usually say that you can't even say that letter. That means you shouldn't be putting that much pressure. And then as a new mom, I used to say, I didn't say that letter, but I said all other letters. Because they are the saying is that you shouldn't be saying even that letter. So like, it's like very easy letter. So like, cow, that might not going down. So I said, I didn't say that, but I can do all the other other words. So that's what we usually do if we don't have the real identifying us from within, or just
Mm,
doing what we heard. Yeah. I
yeah,
was
just
like,
repeating,
notice. Yeah, it's a
repeating the
pattern. It's a
pattern. Yeah,
generational pattern. Yeah. I was
yes.
noticing your background that peace lily is there, because that's what connected to my next question.
Yeah.
Because you are a psychologist and hearing many different stories and helping them to go through their right track. Same time, you are going with this high achievers and their ambitions, their way of picking up, and motherhood the other side, a woman the other side, a wife in the other side. All these are different emotions. And how do you keep all those emotions together and then be peaceful within you? Is there any rules or a tips or a tricks or a secret? Share with us.
So I think first and foremost, I got very good, and this is a skill that anyone can learn, but I got very good at being present
Mm,
wherever I was. So
mm,
if I'm at home and I'm with my daughter, with my husband, then I'm very present and tuned into them.
mm,
And I
mm.
try not to think too much about other things. If
Uh-huh.
I'm working with someone as a client, then I'm very much, my whole attention is focused on them and what I'm doing with them. So
Mm,
I have a very good calendar and schedule, and I just follow that. And then wherever I am, I'm very focused in there.
mm,
So whatever part of my schedule, then I'm focused on that part right there and then. So I got myself to be very good at being able to do that.
mm,
I have a very supportive husband, so I know, that's not the case for everyone, but we really do share the roles and responsibilities
mm,
together. And so we don't really split them. It's just whoever's there and can do some things, they do it. So I think I've been, that's been very helpful for me,
mhm.
supportive of what I want to do and all the things that I do get up to.
Yep.
Um, I think the other things are not having too many unrealistic expectations on myself.
Okay.
So, because I think when you have a lot of expectations, like I should be the best mother, the best wife, the best businesswoman, the best speaker, the best, and then I'm not doing that, or I'm not doing it to the high standards that I think I
Mhm.
should be, then that's when you experience that mother guilt that we know
Mm,
also well, because it's the expectations or the high standards that I'm putting on myself that create that guilt. So I try
mm,
not to do that too much. I just and I have a motto. I say, I'm doing the best that I can, and that's all I can do.
yeah.
So I really try and live by that and remind myself, you're just a human and you're doing the best that you can do. I think the other thing too is I think about, like, what do I want excuse me for one moment.
Mhm.
I think about the kind of role model that I'd like to be to my daughter as well,
Mm,
and how I want her to be able to deal with things, and to see how you can do that and not putting that pressure on yourself and being kind and compassionate to yourself.
mm.
So I think about, how do I want her to be as an adult, and I make choices aligned with that too.
Okay, that's a
Um,
great one. I could hear that from some other women as well, because what they're doing is to be the role model rather than, telling them to become that. You are becoming that, so that you are
yeah,
showing that a real example. That's a good way. I love the way that you mentioned is like scheduling in the calendar, very specific, and then being present all the time. So my mother's hearing there in audience, I will pick up these three, like be present all the time, scheduling, and then be the role model for your people around, not just your kids, but the people around you. So I
Yeah,
think that,
and probably the fourth one is about not having too many expectations, or not having too
yeah.
many rules, maybe even the 3 rules. Don't have too many
Yeah,
rules.
so don't try to be the best, be the one that within you. So I think,
Be the
that's an
best you can
automatic.
be. Don't be the
Yeah.
best, be the best you can be.
Okay.
And yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's the point. It's like I can't be the number one, but I can be the best of my version. So
Exactly.
okay.
Being the best you can be. And
So
just not putting so much pressure on ourselves. I think as women and mothers, we put so much pressure on ourselves to try and be the best and
yeah.
do everything and meet everyone's expectations and our own, which are often very high. And I think that doesn't make it a very fun place to be, and not very, it doesn't feel good for us as humans as
Mm,
well.
yeah. I
And
think
we're teaching and just reminding ourselves that that's what we're teaching our kids to do.
mm,
And
yeah.
would we want that for them? Now, I wouldn't want that for my daughter. So why would I role model that? Why would I model that to her?
I was like, picking up, it's more of like, I'd say competing to yourself, not to other people, right? Because it's always do the best
Yes.
from yourself and then you will
Yes.
become the winner. That's
Correct. And not having comparisons, only comparing with, am I doing better than I was before?
mm,
Making comparisons with yourself, but not with other people.
exactly. Yeah.
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 I love that way of like, getting that energy to go to our next level in our own milestone rather than, oh, okay, the other one is doing that. So I have to be there. So it's more of like giving you that peace inside you, but at the same time, you are reaching your milestone and going into the next level. Okay,
Exactly.
that's a real good point that every mother should pick it up because I think in this world,
Mm.
mainly, I'm not sure about it's in the other community as well, but in the Asian culture, we always look at the other people because status quo is a very serious thing. So if the other
Yes.
person is doing this, I will do it. If I don't have
Yes.
money, that doesn't matter, but I need to be with them to show that in that materialistic way. So that's where we always failed or failing to be the authentically you or like the real self. And
Yeah.
sometimes, not maybe, often, many times we will fail. So I can understand where you're coming from, and that's a good eye opener for everyone.
Yes. The saying that we have is called keeping up with the Joneses. So
Oh,
trying to
okay.
keep up with other people, what they're doing. They buy a car, I buy a car. They do this, that, and it's that comparing yourself and then trying to keep up with what they're doing rather than what's good for us, what's good for our family, what works for us, what's the best we can do rather than that comparison. So, yeah,
Okay.
we
That
got a similar thing, I think.
exactly, yeah. So
Yeah.
because that's sometimes it will we may know, but we may not be reflecting on it, and then we forget.
Yes.
We automatically go with the flow, and then we forget. Oh, am I really competing myself or with other people?
Yes, and is that thing really important to me? Like they bought a car. Is the car actually a new car really important to me? Do I actually want that? So but I think some people just get into um that way of just needing to do that and compare and keep up and all those
Yeah.
things, but it's not necessarily the things that make us happy or make our family happy.
That's true. So I'm actually going back a bit about your psychology life, and then you're seeing many different people. From the experience, you gave us this four different things that we should be like concentrating. But is there any other areas that we should be looking at to become, that winning mindset or winning within ourselves? Is there anything that you can share with your experience, please?
Sure. I think that probably, and particularly when we're talking people who are quite high achieving or high performance, put a lot of pressure on themselves, they are often quite critical of
Mm,
themselves. And a lot of the time, I want to work with people and try and develop more kindness and compassion for
mm,
ourselves. So that's definitely an area I think that we could focus on more. And because what we know is when you experience kindness and compassion and you're able to say, well, I'm a human, I'm actually just doing the best I can, kind of in that beautiful, kind and compassion way, actually what we do is tend to rise up even more.
Okay.
People think, oh, if I beat myself with a stick and say, oh, you did a terrible job, you need to do better, this is not good enough, they think that helps them do better next time, but actually it makes us feel bad. And when we feel bad, we tend to do worse. But I think, again, it's one of those things we don't tend to reflect on or think about. But if you think about it logically, that makes sense, right? Why would I, like, if someone's beating me up, and even if it's myself, I'm going to tend to do way worse because I feel terrible. And then I'm like demotivated and I feel awful, right? And then we expect that we're going to do better. How can we do better from that? Rather than having kindness, compassion. Yes, of course, there's things to learn. Let's say you didn't do a very good job. Let's look at, okay, what did you do well? And let's focus on some of those things, but we can also focus on what can you improve? What could you do better? But we do it with compassion and kindness, and we do it as a learning rather than a beating up like you failed. So that's certainly an area that I love to focus on with people.
Kindness and compassion. Yeah, that's always a big topic for another conversation.
And particularly in high performance, because people think of it as soft. But actually what we know is it often will bring the best out in people. People will perform better and do much better with that.
Yeah, I'm hearing the high achievers a lot because that's your specialty. And then I know that people in this world, everything is freely available in online, but sometimes the mentoring to that capacity to find out the capacity of yourself, and then the way that you helping people. I like your sporting area because that's where you need that instant activity, which includes mind, body, soul, and atmosphere, everything. So that's where your power of coaching and mentoring coming up. So I really would love to check with you, Dr. Nat. How can we reach out to you? So if I'm a high achiever, I'm looking into different areas, can be in my leadership area and sports and different areas. I know that you handling many different areas, but how do I reach out to you?
Yes, so we have a website. So you could go onto our website, winningfromwithin.com.au. You can also reach out to me on socials. I'm on Facebook. We have a Winning From Within Facebook page, as well as Dr. Natasha Davison. All the usuals, right? I'm on LinkedIn, and you could email me as well directly if you like. You can do that directly from the website page as well. So that might be it.
That's great. So I would really encourage the listeners, if you are listening to my series, you can see it's a different type of mentors are coming up and doing in their specialty area. So this special area is more of like, if you are already a leader, but you want to do that as a high achieving style, tips and tricks are different to high achievers than the people starting from ground zero. So I could see, and I personally know what Dr. Nat is doing because we are in that same circle, and then figuring out the way that she is doing, and the professionalism, that's what these high achievers need to keep it. And then you are showing it very well in all your engagement. So I encourage, if you are looking at where you are now, and if you want to go higher, I highly recommend Dr. Nat, and I love to call you Dr. Nat, and that's so cute, rather than calling any other name. So it's very I feel like it's that connection if you call Dr. Nat, because that's where that is actually showing what you're doing and then how you're delivering that. So in that note, I really want a message for our listeners. Our show is always spreading love, joy, and peace, and that's my show's tagline. So can you share a message to all our audience, Dr. Nat?
Yes. So I'd say try to keep things light. Always like to have a laugh and have some fun. Don't take what you do seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. And forgive yourself when you don't do a good job. And probably the biggest message to mothers would be, please be a role model for kindness and compassion by being that for yourself. Yeah. Kids learn by what you not by what you say, but by what you do. So teach them how to be kind to themselves by being kinder to yourself.
That's great. So you need to fill your cup with kindness first to give that to other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great message for motherhood. And I know, Dr. Nat, you had a wonderful Mother's Day, and this is my repeated line: Mother's Day is not a day; it's a lifetime engagement and an opportunity to enjoy and celebrate. So wish you all great wishes as a mother, but more than that, I would really love to wish all the best, because you're going into all these high achievers for our nation. It's not just one person. You're going with the team. You're going with different sporting areas, and then you're helping them to be the proud people for our nation. So all the very best, all our prayers and wishes to you, and well done again on your 100 Speaker Summit, and look forward to find out all your beautiful people that you are empowering, and then helping them to win what they want to be. So thank you so much, Dr. Nat, for your time. And that your way of sharing and picking up again that compassion and kindness and the scheduling. Always
Yes.
don't compete with others, compete with yourself. So those are the gold nuggets that I'm picking up from you, Dr. Nat, and thank you again for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Bismi. I'm so glad you got those gold nuggets. They are beautiful gold nuggets that I'm so happy for you and hopefully others to take away.
That's great. Of course, yes, I believe they can, because it's very much related things and easily adaptable to our life. So I guarantee that they will pick it up. So thank you.
Even if you just pick one thing, even just pick one and just work on that one thing for a little while.
Yeah, one at a time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you, Bismi.
that's what my honor to share Dr. Nat from Winning from Within. So that's the core that she is running, and it's connect to all of us, because connecting to your core is just the beginning of the change, and that's my motto, and that's what I'm experiencing. So I encourage everyone, connect. I will be putting Dr. Nat's details and LinkedIn page details in the description under this video. And as usual, I would love to share the surprise. I will be putting some questions, and all the people are hearing this interview are going into a lucky draw if you are answering a question. And then they will be getting a platinum ticket for a concert happening in July 21st. So thank you so much, my listeners and my guest, for being with me and spreading love, joy, and peace. Thank you.
Thank you.